Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of the Self-Checkout Show. I'm your boy, Pastor Will, and I'm glad to have these men on with me tonight. We're going to have a good time tonight. I got legends, y'all. I have living legends on my show tonight, and we're going to have fun. We're going to have a blast. Everybody, come on in. Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, wherever you're watching from, come on in, share. And while we get to sharing, before I introduce these guys, we're going to listen to some music from one of them. And I know y'all going to remember this. Stay tuned. Let me know that you're here. Let's enjoy this song coming up. They cut me off. Who is that on the keys?
Adrian B. King.
Oh wow, ABK, he playing.
Adrian B. King.
ABK, what's up, man?
What's up, brethren?
What's up, man?
Everybody. That was Keith Butler and the Delegation for Christ Chorale singing "Been Good to Me." You all give me just a moment. Let me figure some stuff out here, because they every now and then I have a few technical difficulties, but we're gonna work it out.
Fritz trying to get in too. He said the link didn't work.
Who?
Fitzgerald.
Okay, give me 1 second, guys. We'll be right back. Don't you all go anywhere. Don't go anywhere.
Adrian, where you at, Adrian?
Yo. What up, y'all?
What's going on? You at the house?
ABK, what up, man?
What's good?
You, bro?
What's up, man?
I'm good, man. I can't complain at all.
He in that jamming.
Well, I kept saying I remember it being
Play, man. Play, dude. Play.
Y'all brothers good?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm good. We maintaining down here in the South.
Yes.
Where Alvin at? Alvin in here yet?
No, he not. Not yet.
You cut your head off.
And the funny thing is that we the only ones on here and we live. That's even funnier.
Yeah.
Are we?
Yes,
Oh.
we're actually live.
We're just talking away. So keep it
right. Keep playing, Adrian.
Oh wow.
Come on, put me in E flat.
That is too funny. That is too funny.
What I don't see is the link. Are we live on Facebook?
We're live on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see it? You see it, Pop?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're live on Facebook.
I'm looking at it, bro.
I'm on Willie Taylor page and don't see the link.
Go to the
His page.
I don't see it on his personal page. I see it on his on the ministry page.
Yeah. Oh, go to okay. My bad. I did like that. Oh, there you go. I'm on Willie Taylor page and don't see the link. There it is.
See your famous words are showing up there.
AB, how's the project doing, man?
Man, doing well, man. We getting ready to come out with a new single.
Okay, already? Yeah, man.
Time to get ready for something for the summer. I want to give them something a little bumpy for the summer.
Okay.
So yeah, we're keeping it moving, man.
Better than Joy? More bump than Joy?
It's called How Great, man. I'm gonna send it to you, Reese. I'll let you check it out.
Cool. Cause let me see.
I'm still in the race. Oh, y'all staying in the race?
Well, I'm trying to release a single. I got Sister Angie, Pastor Spivey leading on it.
Oh, cool.
A little churchy number.
That's good. You know, I didn't get out the game. You know,
I thought you was
getting. Yeah, man. I don't know.
He gonna do it. I'm gonna make sure he do it.
No, nah. I won't say. I'll let that be a mystery for a little while. There you go, Jenkins.
What's going on, guys?
What's up,
Fritz? What's up, man?
Hey.
I won't say. I'll let that be a mystery.
Back.
Okay,
I don't know why my computer decided to update as soon as I went live. All right, guys. If you any other devices you got that's got volume on it, turn those down. Everybody's sorry about the technical difficulties, but I'm back. They're back. Good evening, all of you. Periscope, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube Live. All of you. Hey, glad to see everybody again. Tonight is the night I have legends on my show. I'm excited about it. My mama is hey, May, I see you. Hey, Andrea, I see you. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Glad to have you guys on. Please, 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 by all means, do share this broadcast tonight. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have some fun. I got some of my main dudes on here, y'all, and I'm telling you, I'm like a kid in the candy store right now. Before we went live, I was telling them that I haven't seen any of them really since the last time we were all together when Henry Johnson put on this major reunion, and we all were a part. Pastor Derek Mays, how you, friend? We're a part of it, man. I think that night has got to go down Chicago choir history. Everybody was phenomenal. Everybody was good. Hey, Jennifer, good to see you, Jennifer Jameson. Hey, girl. That night had to go down in history because there was not, I don't remember a reunion concert of that magnitude ever. And all y'all were there. Everybody blazed, man. It was so good. Hey, my favorite is on Sheridan Davis. Hey, girl. So I'm glad to have you guys on tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I got Keith Butler, Al Reese, Fitzgerald Jenkins, Paul Turner, ABK, Adrian B. King. I got them all here tonight. Man, where am I going to start? Where do I start? Keith Butler, let's start, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, man. How about you? I'm honored, first of all, honored to be a part of this panel with all of these great people. Baby brother Fritz, ABK and my son Al and my brother Paul, who I started under. I just want to put that out there. That I came from creation, and I'm very proud of that, and I will tell that everywhere I go. That's where I come from. So we are definitely happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you. That's Keith Butler, Delegation for Christ Corral. Was that the correct name?
Delegation for Christ Corral. Yes, sir. That is the correct name.
Yep.
I need some of the delegation folk to make some noise out there.
Where they at? Come on, DFCC, where y'all at? Say something in these comments. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Fitzgerald Jenkins, Near Future Corral. Was it Corral?
Yep.
All right, I got Fitzgerald on. How you been doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having us on here on this platform again to reunionize ourselves.
Reunionize.
Reunionize. I like that.
Hey, a friend of mine said if you can say it and if you can spell it, it's a word. So we are reunionizing ourselves.
Once again, and we are glad. I'm very, very glad to have you. It's good to see you. It's good to see all of y'all. But we Near Future was one of those choirs, man, where soon as they start singing, everybody just stand up. And we just stay up until they get done singing. And we're gonna talk about that though. I remember the day. I see some Delegation for Christ checking in. I see y'all. Fitzgerald, where your people at? Near Future, y'all on here, say something. Let me know you're here.
Well, you know, they're grown up now. They're no longer adolescents, so they're grown, got ministries and families. Some of them are
They're not your kids
now.
no more?
No, they are, yeah. They're too grown for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have the one and only Adrian B. King in the building tonight.
What's up,
ABK,
everybody?
what's up, man?
What's good, my dude?
How you doing?
Man, I'm great, man. I'm just glad to be here. Happy to be here, man. As they said, what they say, a reunion ship? Is that what you said?
He said reunionize.
We can reunion ship too. If you could say it, spell it, it's a word.
I'm feeling some kind of way because I'm the only one that's up 94 West, it seems.
Well, yeah, you South Side. You South Side. Welcome.
What, Keith? I got a guest pass or something like at the gym. I can't get in on my own.
Oh man, it's good to see you, boy. That's Adrian B. King, and his group is entitled Reverence.
Yes,
sir.
Adrian B. King and Reverence. Okay, I see Near Future checking in. I see Creation Ministries checking in. Praise Alive checking in. Praise Alive. I don't know where our leader is. Can you call him for me and tell him we waiting on him? All right.
He the old
Ladies
dude.
and gentlemen,
He's waking up from his nap. He's taking a nap.
Steve?
He's taking a nap. We got to wake him up.
He doing something. The bishop is on with us tonight, y'all. Al Reese is here. What's up, Al?
What's good, people? So glad to be here tonight, man. Thanks so much for the invitation, man. Glad to be hanging out with all my partners in crime tonight, man. So good to see y'all. Real talk.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, we're glad to have you. And y'all know, everybody knows and loves Paul Turner. He's here. What's up, Paul?
BT.
What's going on? I'm just happy to be here. I'm around my friends, even Fitz. All jokes aside.
Tonight, man. Don't y'all start nothing.
Okay. For years. I mean, he would just call me and say stuff. I'm like, why are you calling me? I never forget in the middle of the day. But no, I grew up with Keith. I played a little bit with Adrian. Me and him played for a group together.
Sure did.
I work with Al, and it's just a pleasure to see everybody evolve into the people that we are. And it's by the grace of God, because as we all know, even our great friend Harrison Spades, we never expected any of us not to be here, you know. So it's just good to be amongst the land of the living.
Without a doubt.
Alvin Willis.
Hey,
Finally.
Keith, look who
Alvin
decided to
Willis.
join us.
He woke up. He woke up. He drunk his coffee. He's ready.
Yes, sir.
Alvin, Keith said you had took a nap.
I was late. No, I was working, man. I've been working. I have to make the
Man,
donuts.
ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
it is a pleasure for me to introduce.
All
I don't
right.
have to introduce him, everybody know him, but that's Alvin Willis, y'all. That's my dude. Glad to have you on, Al. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. How's everybody?
Doing well, bro.
Doing well, man.
Can you hear
Alvin
me?
Willis and the Praise Alive Chorale,
Oh,
who
okay.
I have the pleasure of singing
Yes.
with for a number of years. And I see Praise Alive checking in. Got Maymay on here. She checking in. Hey, Jennifer say we'd better leave Alvin alone. She must be talking to Keith and Paul.
They
So
always trying to rip up the old people, boy. I'm telling you.
I'm loving this. I'm loving seeing all of these choir members checking in. This is awesome. That's right. Represent your leader. I want to go back to Paul real quick. Let's just talk for a second. Paul, Creation Ministries. Well, every choir that's represented here tonight had their own unique sound. Who would you say, and I want to ask each of you, who would you say were your influences for Creation Ministries musically?
Musically, for me, and I have to say this so that we can get a clear understanding. The first part of creation history, before I actually took over, the first 15 years, I have to be honest, that sound was for Santeras Holmes and then later became Keith Butler. And so I was just a musician. I never was set up to even think about a sound or anything of the nature. And then Alvin came and helped out for a while. So I was always trying to find that person who was going to take over the ministry to do their thing so I could continue to go to school and other things, other interests that I had. And then one day Jesse Williams spoke to me and said, hey, you need to step up and take over and do what you have to do. And honestly, I started mimicking after Thomas Whitfield, New G, some of the Southside choirs that I had heard in the past, and just built my own sound from there. And I'm thankful though, because I'm just the nucleus of all of these great leaders and everything else. I learned how not to dance from Fitzgerald. I knew 100% that wasn't going to be me. I could do anything they were doing. Okay, I'm just being honest. I mean, Fitzgerald and them came out. It was like, wow, they had a move for every note, every
Word, correct.
every word they had a note for, and then you have to learn where you get in at. So it was, I never wanted to get off the organ. That's where I wanted to be. That's where I was more comfortable at. So I had to watch all you guys. Al Reese was a tremendous director. Keith Butler, of course, nobody can do anthems and those type of songs to that magnitude like Keith. And then when it comes to those songs like Donald Lawrence and different ballads, I would say for gospel music, nobody could do them like Alvin Willis. So you learn from everybody.
Yeah.
And then the music mixing in with all of the sound, that was Adrian's thing. We would play an A minor chord and try to sing it, and they would accomplish it. So I learned from everybody. And so my success has been based on just following and listening and being willing to learn and trust what God has given me.
I think that's one thing that I can respect about each of you guys is that, and I know you all of you share the same sentiment. You kind of learned from each other, along with those gospel artists, that were big, like the Donna Lawrences, the Fred Hammonds, all of those people. And being younger then, I always found Donald Lawrence to be this like in my eyes, he's a musical genius.
Yes.
And that dude can write, man. He can arrange, right? He can produce. He can't sing, but he can do all the rest of that stuff. But he is a genius to me. And when I first heard Alvin, SOS is here. I see you. Hey, Karen, Prophetess Mickey. When I first heard Praise Alive, I was like, I was really impressed. Because it's not many people that could pull a, You Encourage My Soul. That was the song. I said, man, they got it. And obviously Donald was an influence of yourself, Alvin. What other influences did you have?
That's for you, Alvin.
I don't know what A-Dub doing over there.
Yeah, actually, my influences was. What? Y'all can hear me?
No.
I can
No.
hear you
Y'all
now,
hear me?
yeah.
Yeah.
No? Yeah?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
we can hear you.
Mic check, mic check.
Can you
I
hear me
hear you,
now?
Alvin.
No, I cut the mic
Yeah,
off. Now can you hear me?
Yes.
we can
Yes.
hear you. We hear you, Al.
Oh, okay. Why can't everybody else hear me?
Everybody.
We're saying we can hear you.
If we can hear you, they definitely can hear you.
Yeah.
My mic is on.
Yeah, go ahead. Everybody can hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me, y'all? I asked y'all, can you hear me? My inspirations. Okay. My inspirations was probably the Tommies first. That was my first. I guess everybody's inspiration was the Tommies, and then of course the Thomas Whitfields of the world was heavily influenced with that kind of stuff. And of course, I'm an R&B guy anyway, so a lot of the R&B stuff was inspirational to me. But in terms of just gospel, it was probably the Tommies and the Thomas Whitfield, especially in those early days of the learning
Yeah,
curve with gospel music. It was those two choirs that were probably my biggest. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. For
Everybody
sure. What
had the
about you?
Tommies though. Everybody was learning from the Tommies back then though. But
I think everybody, every community choir, every church choir sang Tommy's material. You just had to.
Yes. That's true.
Yeah, for sure. Who were your influences?
My influences came from artists who
Yep.
produce
Yep.
energetic music. Whoever gave us that feel, that energy, that's who we was going with. So who we pretty much got our influences from was like people like Hezekiah Walker,
Yeah,
James Hall, Ricky Dillon New G, Mark Hubbard. Um, yeah, that was Keith's guy, as well as what's the other guy? Orlando Draper.
oh
So
yeah,
all those guys in that era created music and created sounds that catered to the identity of Near Future. Because as you all had mentioned, Near Future was an adolescent choir, so they were kind of very youthful and full of energy. So I had to produce or music or introduce music to them to kind of like go with their energy level.
hmm
So yeah, those guys, I would say those guys gave us the inspiration that created our sound.
ABK Reverence also had, again, everybody has their own sound, their own unique sound. Reverence definitely had a sound that was really, really like top notch, man. Who were your influences?
I think my original influence was Thomas Whitfield. As a matter of fact, Thomas Whitfield is like really the reason that I do music, because it was so many similarities. Thomas Whitfield was a big guy. I was a big guy. Thomas Whitfield had a curl. I used to have a curl. Real talk. Thomas Whitfield played the piano. I played the piano. Thomas Whitfield had a choir. I had a choir. So we were like Baby Whitfield initially when I first started the choir in '92. So we sang everything that he recorded. And then Kenny Lewis and I merged a few years later.
Yeah.
Transitioned to more of a new G kind of thing because Ricky came. So we upped our energy and kind of changed our vibe. So I think from the onslaught, those two were our primary influences, along with, of course, all the local influences. I mean, Paul is an OG. I used to play for Creation. Paul used to come all the way from the west side to pick me up on the south side in a Buick Road.
I remember that old man.
I still remember that time. And he would pick me up from 114th and King Drive and drive me to Creation rehearsal. And that's where I met Jesse, amazing people. And so, that would be my initial. But I'm like y'all, I'm a sponge. If I see anything I like or I'm vibing to, I'll find a way to incorporate it and mesh something to happen. So, I even have country influence.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Al Reese, who are some of your influences?
Well, every third Sunday, the Souls were at Christ Tea.
Yep.
Balcony, middle section, first two rows.
Yep.
We probably owe them money for the way we would have that balcony. So that was our that was our primary, and then outside of that, I like, for lack of a better word, the bark of Corinthian Temple Church of God in Christ choir.
Oh, okay. All right.
I like the way they were able to bark out a choir sound and then give you those anthems. I love that about them, and so I kind of like them. And at that time, I really hadn't heard too many other outside influences. I wasn't really up on a whole lot of people. I didn't become a Whitfield fan till later, unlike my brothers. But the LA Mass Choir, I love them because they were a small group with this huge sound. So I would say those three mainly, and then of course I learned a lot from these guys. That's why I call Keith Pops. Sitting in their rehearsal. Only rehearsal I never got a chance to sit in was Adrian's and Paul's. But one day Alvin floored me, and he taught a song for the radio for his record without a band. I was like, how they gonna stay on? I tried my best to argue that don't work, Alvin. But Praise the Lord was killing. And I was like, from now on, I'm gonna teach without a band. That's how I'm gonna teach, so I can hear the choir that way. By the time the choir and the band come together as one, we'll be where we need to be.
Alvin, do you feel that? Let me let Fritz back in. Do you think, or let me ask it this way: does the choir, as we knew it, still exist today?
Absolutely not.
Speak.
And the reason, and I don't knock, the what we have going on today, the modern groups that we have, and praise and worship groups that we have. I don't knock it. For me, it's the choir just gave such a powerful energy that that we kind of like lack today, because even choirs, we had such, of course Keith had the largest choir ever, so
yeah, that choir was huge, man.
So having those many people singing in unison or in harmony, it just brought it just took over your body. It was just it was such a feeling that came from those voices that, you know, regardless how many microphones you mic up people today, you still don't have that same feeling, that same energy.
Yeah.
Well, we also have to be honest about it. I'm probably gonna get beat up about this, but Chris Randall and the company was the greatest choir that never won a Stellar. Point blank. We all learned from him and what they did, and he taught us so many things behind the scenes. And now, if you have half of a voice and somebody to play your favorite key, you're a praise and worship leader. Point blank.
Yeah.
So what happens is those people who probably would have been part of choirs or in the church choir, now they're singing themselves. They don't have the interest in being a part of a delegation or a creation or something like that of that sort. So I think that praise and worship, even in the gospel industry, has just watered down what choir music used to be.
I agree with you 100%, Paul. I'm like little brother Fritz. And I don't knock the praise team. I don't knock the smaller. I love praise and worship. Not am I a praise and worshiper? No, I'm not. But if you give me a good old choir, I'm a choir KWI. I'm gonna get with them. Choir, give me a good old choir. I'm gonna get with them because I like. There's nothing like the sound of a choir. Not again. If you got all of the intricacies of each person being able to sing in the mic and doing all of that, it's nothing like seeing 25 or more people give energy to one particular song. It's nothing like that. Because the praise and worship, they dance, they move all over the place. And we have to remember, and I'm kind of with Paul, that we have to remember that the church is changing as well. So the church is becoming more progressive. So we have to understand that with each movement of the church, the music ministry changes as well. Let's take from James Cleveland to Walter Hawkins. Let's go from Walter Hawkins to the Thompson Community Singers. Let's go from Thompson Community Singers to New G and all of us. Let's go from New G to Kirk Franklin. Let's go from Kirk Franklin to Ty Tribbett. Let's go from Ty Tribbett to who's the superstars now, Todd Delaney and them guys. And I mean, who's a homeboy? I hope he's watching. Todd Delaney is a Chicagoan. Let's put that out there. Jonathan McReynolds. These guys, I love their music. But you give me 25 or more that I can stand up there and teach one of my influences, Orlando Draper, teach them a song, 25 or more, and let them sing "My Soul Does Magnify the Lord."
Yeah.
With that, with the rhythm and the rhythm and all of that, and you're moving your arms and you're giving that power. You can't do that with a praise team. It's just not going to happen.
I want to address, I'm glad that you said that because this question just came up from Sharonda Brown, and I want to address that. She asked, what about having both a praise and worship team and a choir? And I think that works. Again, every church has a culture. And because the church is progressive, a lot of churches have actually done away with the choir and transitioned totally. A lot of churches have transitioned totally to praise and worship. But I feel that if there are people in the said church that are choir material, why not still have a choir and a praise team? Because there are some people that will not vibe with a praise and worship team like they will a choir. For example, my mama. All right, let's hear from Al and then Keith.
I'm gonna get beat up. I personally think this whole lack of choir thing, I think somehow Chicago missed it. Because everywhere outside of Chicago, people still choirs. I think whomever we allowed to be the voice of Chicago music allowed us to be fooled. Because in other cities, y'all know I'm on the radio. I get choir music all the time. I mean, there are still choirs they're singing today. I mean, you got. I feel like Atlanta has now taken over. You got Kevin Lemons and his group. You got David Walker and his group. You got Kevin Stiles and his group. And over on the East Coast, you got Patrick Riddick. I mean, James Hall is still singing. I mean, that boy who I got that one
Vincent
song.
Bohannon.
Who? Vincent Bohannon. You got him. Who brought his choir to Chicago. He brought his choir to the maker of choir music. He brought them here. I mean, that church Great First Baptist of Glen Arden, he still got 100 choir members. Ricky Dillard is minister of music at Ebenezer. They got 100 choirs are still singing. I think in Chicago, somehow we decided it's not progressive to have choirs anymore. I mean, I was little, and one day I'll never forget it. Our car stopped on Douglas on the way to church. And my aunt said, go in Stone Temple and call your uncle. When I went in Stone Temple, there were 5 different choir robes.
Wow.
5 different choirs, one church. So to answer that question of Sharonda, who's a member of Faith Life, we've always had multiple singing aggregations. That's how we came up with the mass choir. I'm just trying to figure out who said praise and worship is the new thing. We've always done praise and worship. We just gave it a title today.
Yeah, I want to address another comment. Bishop Jeff Davis said, I found that those that sing on the praise team don't want to sing in the choir.
I was getting ready to say that.
Exactly.
And let me address that. The reason why is because the churches today have made the praise team the elites, so to speak. So they feel a lot of times that they are above, that they are separate from the music ministry. See, the praise team in my church is part of the music ministry. Yeah. That's it. They don't listen. And his wife, Jackie, said, and those that are in the choir,
yeah, I was
want
about
to be part of the praise team because of the simple fact that the praise team nowadays are considered the elite. These are the elite. Even some churches pay the praise team. Some people do. I ain't saying, I don't knock it, whatever you decide to do. One of the things that hurt the choir nowadays, and let me speak from a real minister of music perspective, one of the things that hurts the choir is because you put the praise team in front of the choir while the choir is singing in mics. That's not the choir.
Okay.
You can't do that because what it's doing is that it's featuring the praise team and not the choir. You have to remember that there's nothing wrong with having a praise team. I'm going to tell y'all what we do at Greater Pure Light Church. The praise team go to the choir stand when they finish singing because they're part of the choir. You see what I'm saying? So see, that's just the way that we are. So a lot of the progressive churches have made, and there's nothing wrong with it. Please don't get me wrong. I want it to be made clear that there's nothing wrong with how you do that. But we lose the choir because the praise team is put out in the front and the choir is not. The choir is not as important because we sing the choirs, but the praise team is in the mics. So how are you hearing the choir? You're not hearing the choir if the praise team is singing in the mics. And I personally, and I'm gonna be like Bishop, I'm gonna get beat up for this, but I can't stand that. I can't stand that. That's just something because you take away from those who's been in that ministry for years and years. That grandmother that's been singing since she was 12 in the choir is now a backstanding person because you got the 25-year-old on the praise team. Now, that might not mean nothing to a lot of people, but that's just that's my personal opinion, and it's a pet peeve of mine, and I could do a workshop on that for 4 days easily.
Alvin,
I'm sorry, y'all go ahead.
Let me get Alvin's take on that. What do you agree? Do you think the choir is still the same as we knew it?
You got turn your volume up.
Who is that? Who's supposed to be talking now? Alvin?
Alvin, yeah.
He's got problems with his volume
Sorry, I didn't
tonight.
hear you. Will it say it again?
No, I was asking the question on the screen. Do you think that the choir as we knew it still exists?
Oh, okay. I didn't hear the question, but I guess I can. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I don't think that the choir is ever going to go away. Of course, because of the pandemic, the choir is not functioning, the way that they had been. But the choir will come back. Now, the way the things used to be, as far as the way that the choirs was set up, that's going to take quite some time to go back, quite the way that we were before, until we get this virus really under control, where the herd immunity, I guess they said 75 to 80% of the people get the vaccine. I think that's a big part of it. But yeah, the choir versus the praise team. I've always said that I think that the praise team and the choir are both needed in the church. And people have different opinions about. I thought I saw somebody's comment. The choir members want to be on the praise team, and the praise team don't want to be in the choir, like as if the praise team is like stars, really, if you will, but really there's only, of course, we all know that there's only one star. I think the ministries that really thrive, as far as that breakdown, is the praise team. I think a lot of times they need to just be clean, sing with the choir, but because a lot of times when you on the praise, you don't want to sing with the choir. Choir members take that as, and I'm gonna be transparent, they take that as a slight, to them to some degree, because the singers don't want to sing with the choir members, and it's an ongoing kind of thing with that. And I think that the churches and the ministries that kind of put it all together have a better chance of the music ministry succeeding. That's my take.
ABK.
So let me ask a question. Are we just speaking church, or are we speaking across the board? Because I don't know if
generally speaking.
Okay, you all have. I agree with everything pretty much that has been said with the church. I want to go a different way. Do I feel the choirs are relevant and will be as they were? I don't think so. The industry, unfortunately, gets to make a decision to a degree of what the people get. In other words, when you go to McDonald's, you can't go to McDonald's and say, I want a Whopper. When you go to McDonald's, you got to get something that's on that menu. And if the industry, for whatever reason, have decided to downsize and to consolidate and to pretty much go with groups or go with the personality as opposed to a conglomerate, it's not really a whole lot. Let's just look at the industry now. The only choirs that are really, really having major impact in the industry, of course, Ricky Dillard is the choir master. And then you get a few understudies like Kevin Lemons, like Vince Bohannon, and people like that, maybe a Chicago Mass here and there. But if you look at the industry, it's dominated by groups or by solo artists with background singers.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm looking at my iPad because I'm looking at comments. There was a time that I would have to look at my computer, or I would have to hold a book. But you see how it's just been consolidated now?
Yeah.
I don't agree with it because personally, I think that both are important. I think that the praise and worship team should be more like the appetizer. And I think the choir is what just is the main course and knocks it out the park. But think about it. People travel light now, y'all. I used to have a choir. I downsized to a group. And one of the reasons that I downsized to a group was I felt that I could get a more cohesive sound. And Alvin probably going to jump in here. I felt that I could get a more cohesive sound with higher level skilled singers. I felt that they would be able to kind of deliver a little bit closer to what I was feeling musically. And another reason, Keith Butler, I got tired of paying for them doggone coach buses. Them coach buses and renting them 15 hotel rooms to try to go on the road.
Hey
And
man, I used to have
look,
3.
y'all can shoot me, but I'm gonna keep it 100. A lot of people had choirs, but a lot of people in the choirs couldn't really sing that well. So it's like you're paying more money and you got a lot more people. It was easier to consolidate. Do I think choirs are coming back? I don't think choirs are ever going to go anywhere. I think as it relates to church, once this pandemic is over, we'll be good. I even think with concerts, we'll be good, but I don't know about the industry. I think the industry has to kind of make that decision, y'all. Because I don't know.
That was a great aspect, Adrian. That was a great aspect to come from. I agree with you.
I want to give a shout out to James Anderson, who's in the room with us tonight. One of the greatest to ever play black and white. Glad to have him on tonight. Fitzgerald, I want to.
I think Paul wanted to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Paul.
Adrian, from his view, is very correct. The only problem I have with the industry is that the industry does not control what I buy. And I think that if enough people were honest, the reason we only see the elites like Kirk Franklin, Donnie McClurkin, Yolanda Adams, and the few that win awards at the Stellars every year is because that's what's dictated to us, okay? And I don't, am I saying they're not good, they're not great? No, I'm not saying that. But it was a time when we made and we had a valid point. Right now, I don't think anybody is looking at the fact that people are on here and all across America saying we want to hear a choir. Is it more expensive? Yes. Okay. That's why a choir really worked, because it wasn't the greatest singers. It was people who wanted to do it. So that spirit is being deleted from the history of gospel music, basically.
Paul, let me ask something. What happens though, Paul? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, we hear you.
What happens though, Paul, is whether we want to look at it or not, people are dictated by what they see. You're right. People can't control what you buy, but the average person is influenced by what they see. Today, I saw a McDonald's commercial, and I don't like McDonald's, but before I knew it, I was in a drive-thru. Because I saw a commercial. So if this music, not calling any artists, I'll just say solo artists and groups and praise and worship. If that's what's being presented to the people, the average person is going to consume what's presented to them. It's almost like kids.
But one thing you got to remember,
something,
Adrian,
that's what they get.
But one thing you have to remember is that everyone on this panel, they could not have told me that we would still be listening to quartet 20 years ago.
They got their own little.
But look, that's what I'm saying. You have to have your own. We're letting people control what we want to hear. The quartet is maintained because they've stood up and said, we have a quartet division. This is where we stand. And until somebody says it has to be a choir division, a real choir, people coming together, it's always going to be that way.
I agree.
So Adrian, can I ask something? So you were influenced by McDonald's. So when I see that Crown Royal Peach can drink that they have, I should go into. Okay, I was just wondering. The one with the Crown Apple, I should go to the store.
No, I'm talking, Keith. I'm talking about generalized stuff.
I know, man. I'm just messing with you, Adrian. I'm just messing with you, Adrian.
I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying realistically, people gravitate to what. Me personally, I'm a praise and worship leader, but I'm tired of praise and worship. I'm tired of only hearing and seeing praise and worship. I'm tired of it. I miss choirs. Yeah. I miss concerts. I was just on the phone with Percy Gray before we got on, and I thank Percy Gray for staying true to who he is. Because they just keep hitting you with new choir, gospel music. I'm like, why are we trying to only be like white folk? If anything, let's have it all. We're built with soul. Good. We got soul on the inside of us, Alvin. We were created that way. Why do we have to water all of our music down? Why do we have to do one-liners and modulate with guitar-driven only? I love it. but that ain't got to be all we do.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
Right.
all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I agree with that. That's good, man.
That's
good.
a
I'm
great
talking,
point.
That's good.
I think
that
that's
ain't
a
all we
very,
That's
do.
good.
very, very good point.
That's good.
And
That's good.
when Adrian was talking, I thought about Dexter Walker, who
Mhm.
started that. I think it was the hashtag Bring the Choir Back. He started that, and of course Dexter puts out some great music. And I don't know where he was with it, but for me in Chicago, I'm just talking Chicago.
Yes, sir.
I feel, and I still feel, that there is still a lack of good quality choir music, church choirs and community choirs. We don't have many community choir concerts and musicals like we used to. We just don't. And I thank Dexter for that hashtag, bring back the choirs or whatever it was. Somebody tag him and get him in here. Fitzgerald, I want to hear from Fitzgerald and Adrian. Adrian talked a lot about the industry part of it. And that led me to think there are some gospel Christian artists who all we have known of them was that genre of music, the gospel and the Christian. But if we be honest, there ain't a whole lot of money in our genre.
No.
Unless, and y'all in it, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, unless you're one of the big names like the Rickies, like the Freds, like the Yolandas. So that leads me to ask this question. Why do you feel that not we, but people give Christian and gospel artists so much flack when they decide to cross over and sing something other than gospel music? Like, let me say this: that girl, I believe that young lady, I think her name is Karen Hawthorne. I think
Korean.
Korean. She got a song out now, and it's hot. They playing it on 1390, and they playing it on V103. And she's been catching a little bit of flack about that. I want to hear from Fitzgerald and then Reese.
Okay, so what is your question again?
Why do these artists catch so much flack when they cross over from gospel to whatever you want to call it?
Me personally, I think the church could be a very judgmental. We judge people regardless of what, if they don't meet a certain standard or a certain criteria that we feel that is saved and holy, then we go judge them. So I there are some artists who do cross over and do well. Uh, Aretha Franklin, she's a prime example that crossed over from gospel to pop or R&B or whatever, did well. And there are a lot of other artists that cross over. Me personally, Fantasia started off R&B. Now she's at gospel. Personally, I think she should have stayed with R&B.
Okay.
That's me personally. But to answer your question, I just think that we should allow people to use their gift and spread or minister in their own way, because I know in some concert, even some R&B concerts or hip hop concerts, it turned into church. So you never know what platform, based on the platform that you have, you never know who you may reach. So I said we should all keep an open mind about how we use our platform, where we sing, where we minister, because you never know who you may affect or impact at that particular time.
Reese.
I see a lot of souls commenting. What's up, y'all? Like to have y'all hanging out with us. I'm gonna go and just keep it 100. A lot of times, the what crosses the artist over first is the song.
Okay.
Right? The self. I mean, because artists been doing it forever. Rance Allen, Al Green. You know that the crossover it'll happen. Remember they stopped playing Amazing on 1390. You know, you go from John Legend, Dana, what up, lady? You go John Legend, Joe, and then Amazing. You know, so the song, CC Winans had a couple crossed over. BB and CC had a few that crossed over. The Winans had a few that crossed over. So the song itself. Then a lot of times it's the money. You know, the artist itself will change because you know other genres tend to play more, and so the artist has to decide in doing gospel music what's the point, and you got to keep it 100 with yourself, not the audience, with yourself. If this is what you want to use to make your money, then you're going to have to do what you have to do that, right? If it's really about ministry, then you gotta understand that you always won't get a big check, especially because we gotta pay people, we gotta pay bands and all that. Like y'all talked about the buses and all of that. I've been on them trips with the Souls. I've been on them trips with Keith. You gotta pay for that stuff, and so so I believe it has the combination to do with the artists themselves and even the song.
Now, here's my thing. I see you, Keith. Here's my thing. And Al, you just said if it's going to be about ministry, let it be about that. But I feel this way. I think that if I'm an artist, and I see Keith, I want to hear Keith, and then I want to go to Alvin. If I'm an artist, a gospel artist, and this is how I make my living, and it's not quite bringing in the revenue that I wanted to or that I thought it would, and there's another opportunity over here for me to not, degrade myself. I ain't got to cuss and all that kind of stuff. I can still sing, right, and make a nice check. I feel like there's nothing wrong with me crossing over to take care of my family, and I can still perform, do ministry with my gift at the same time. That's me, Keith, and then Alvin.
Now, when you say crossover, I heard Fritz mention, Aretha going from gospel to R&B, but as you mentioned, Corinne Hawthorne. See, I wouldn't consider a song played on a R&B radio station a crossing over as the artist. What has happened is that the radio stations are now being charged with playing gospel music.
Okay.
So Marvin Sapp or Kirk Franklin was probably one of the first. No, I'm lying. Tremaine Hawkins was the first with Holy One. I'm lying. You Brought the Sunshine by the Clark Sisters.
You Brought the Sunshine
was probably the first one that crossed over. And Oh Happy Day. So
okay,
it's the song that brings about joy is my point. It's the song that brings they play Ricky Dillard on R&B. They play Hezekiah Walker. They do mega mixes now on R&B stations with gospel music. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think that the artists themselves are crossing over, because I think that, I was getting ready to say Marvin Sapp is a prime example of whatever song that was. I only know some of the words. I can't think of what the song is that went bananas after.
Never Would Have Made It.
Never Would Have Made It.
Yeah.
Went bananas on, and it was played on every single station 5 or 6 times a day across the world
It was in
because
rotation.
of the message. Because of the message, and Adrian has a more in-depth from a industry aspect of why that is. I think I just listened to Adrian's album today. I would love to hear a couple of them on an R&B station. Not that it's an R&B song, but it's encouraging enough and it has the flavor that people will understand the message. We as church folk get so wrapped up in the beat that we don't listen to the message of the song.
Let's go
Paul
Alvin
got
and
his
then
hand up.
Paul.
Oh, okay. Man, this is a touchy subject to some people. Me personally, I come from really a R&B, background from as what I was reared up and what I listened to as a kid. That was what my parents played. That's what they listened to. The Ohio Players, Al Green, all of that stuff. They was heavily into that. So that's what really the music that I was introduced to. Now I write gospel music, but I also write R&B music too. So it's and I don't think that one really, well, actually it comes from my heart. So it's coming from me. It's coming from a place of love anyway, because of the music, that I write. A lot of people, let's just be honest with you. The gospel side of things just does not financially. It's not going to do what the other side is going to do. Actually, no music in the way the industry is right now. Ain't nobody really selling no music now anyway. But back in the day, gospel music was always. So it has to be. I believe that gospel music got to be in your heart for you to want to do it. And what comes from the heart is going to reach the heart. And that's what people really, really love about great songs, because it comes from a place in their heart, be it gospel, be it R&B. I wrote a song called Time Told on You. Just like a caring friend, it told me the truth. That's a lyric.
Okay.
Nobody heard it yet, but it's in my catalog. So, that came from my heart. It was something that I was thinking about, how time tells the story for people. It's a song. It's not considered gospel, but it's definitely a message in the music. I think that what's in your heart, that's what you should do. Be it gospel music, be it R&B, be it pop music, as long as it's not offending and, it got, crazy elements in it. It is what it is. That's music. That's what it comes down to.
Paul Turner.
Amen.
Well, I agree with all you guys. I just think the main aspect of gospel music crossing over is the key factor that the church and just the Christian behavior is that if we're doing gospel music and it crosses over, we're doing the work that we should be doing.
Right.
The other part of it is that most of us will never tell the truth. I don't work for a Christian. Not my real job. Nobody brings that up because that brings in tithes and offerings. So you have to think about it on all levels. None of us work for, if you work a job outside of working for your church or your ministry, most of the time you're not working in a Christian environment. You're crossing over at that point. So we have to be realistic in the thought process to say, if I'm playing my music, Adrian, who is a writer, Alvin, who's a writer, Al Reese, I'm not a writer. If your music crosses over into another genre and they're playing it, you're doing your job.
You're doing your job.
If you benefit from the fruits of your labor, my mother always used to say, your gift will make room for you. You don't have to make room for your gift.
I think that's where Fitzgerald mentioned a large part of Christendom is really judgmental.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because see, all of you all know especially Adrian knows the industry part of it. A person like me sees or hears, oh, they playing Alvin song on V103. He must have sold out. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that's the issue that I have with it. And I don't think, again, I don't believe that it's wrong. Now, I'll get what you're saying, Paul, about crossing over. I mean, we're doing our job. That's great. I get that. But I'm saying if me as an artist says, I'm done with this gospel because I ain't getting what I need from it, I'm going over here. I don't think that's wrong either.
That's what I'm saying, because I don't.
Many have done it.
My interpretation of that is that whatever I have to do to support my family, I understand it.
Absolutely.
Okay, because if I'm sitting here like Mahalia Jackson, who was a millionaire, okay, but she sold her music to everybody. She wouldn't sing the blues. But then you have the Clark sisters who took a song and made a transition off of Stevie Wonder beat, and
Yeah.
they blew up. So it's all about what you accept. Just like we were talking about praise and worship and how we've elevated and we progressed into this. Okay, but I think everything progresses about our finances, and that's the
Hmm.
Yeah.
You're right about that, brother.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
Woo!
all of us have been doing this for at least 20 plus years. Okay, and let's be honest with you. Let's be honest.
Speaking of which,
We have to either die on the organ or in the pulpit.
Wow.
There's no benefit. None of
Yeah.
us say,
Wow.
I'm gonna retire. You can't do
You're
it.
sure right, bro.
You have to
Yeah.
put the money somewhere else. And so let's be honest. That's why when we talk about the industry, a lot of the industry is based on people who are maintaining their budgets on what they want to do to survive. I'm sorry, Rick.
No, you're good. You mentioned that you guys have been doing this for 20 years plus, and I just want to laugh with y'all a little bit. Alvin, before you came in, I wanted to be known that they all agreed that you are the oldest of everybody.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Let me take a look at this panel.
Yes.
There's no point in looking, bro.
Hey, brother, I may be the oldest, but I don't look the oldest.
I didn't say that. I
Shots
just said that you
fired.
were the oldest. Because
Shots fired.
I know he's talking about my platinum. So I'm okay with that.
Hey, I just cut all mine off, so it was.
Man.
Y'all hear me say I didn't say gray. I said platinum.
That's platinum.
That's platinum.
All right, guys, let's have a little fun. I want to have some fun with you guys that are watching as well, especially those of you who sang with one or more of these choirs. I'm going to ask them a question. I want you all to answer as well from your own experience. I'm going to start with Adrian. Adrian, Reverence, you only get one song to sing to kill the house, as they say, or to dump the house, whatever you want to call it. What song do you choose from Reverence?
Dump the house. Yeah, I could tell we old schoolers. I ain't heard that term in years.
Well, you know, I'm old.
Dump the house. What?
I'm old man.
I don't know. I think see I'm in a different place because Paul is still in there. Paul still got the. I don't know how Paul. I don't know how you done kept a quiet 30 years. I still don't know how.
Endurance.
Paul's still in there. Still got numbers. But I've transitioned again from a choir to a group. But if I had to merge the two, it would probably have to be My Earnest Desire, which was my.
Yes.
I see a couple of people in the comments saying My Earnest Desire. Some are saying Well Done. Well Done. That was my song from Reverence. But I like Earnest Desire too.
Because I said that because My Earnest Desire would have. It's more of my heart. And it kind of merges both aspects of it together. It can go either way. Now, Well Done, if we just want to go to the headbang grooving thing, then yeah, we probably rock out with that one, or Secret Place. But I have to say My Earnest Desire.
Oh, wait, Secret Place. That was the one right there.
My favorite is Earnest Desire.
That was the one. I might have to pull that out.
There you go.
Oh, man.
I do want to, before we move on, I want to give a shout out to Rick Williams Jr. He says that the last part of his comment says, I like all genres of music, but I grew up watching you guys that are on this panel tonight, play, teach, direct. It inspired him to become a musician and a producer, and he is a great one.
Wow.
Let me tell a story about Rick. I for a spell played for New St. Matthews while his dad was pastor. And he was an aspiring drummer, like a little kid learning how to play the drums. And I stayed on him. And I just told him, keep going. I would make sure that he would do whatever it is that he needed to do to stay on point. And when I see the clips of him now and the things that he do, I'm glad to say that I had the pleasure of being part of that seed, or being part of that watering, of that seed that was there. And Rick, with all respect, man, to you, he said definitely stayed on me. That's funny. But my hat's off to you, man. Keep pushing and instill into others as well. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I love it.
Dana Spates, my girl, my beautiful sister, said that's what's so great about the community choirs. They were known for some songs that only that choir could sing. Yeah. That's a fact. Fitzgerald, you get one song to pick that Near Future sang. What would that be?
I Never Shall Forget.
Yep. I had a feeling you were gonna say that. I think just about everybody, I don't know, had a little part in that song. I think that's one of them songs that just about every choir hit. I Never Shall Forget. James Hall.
Yep.
Let's go, Paul.
Okay. Under my tenure, the song that I would think that everybody would request is the song that Al Reese actually put on his CD. He's the Greatest.
Yeah.
Y'all smashes it.
Let me stop right here. That He's the Greatest. Listen here. If y'all watching were not at the reunion that Henry Johnson put together 2 years ago? No,
Yeah.
2 years ago.
2019.
Henry Johnson, shout out to Henry. He put the most phenomenal concert on ever. It was all of these guys and others, some of the other great ones, Chris Bishop Randall, and too many to name, but everybody was great. But man, when Creation did that song, done. I was done.
Fun fact, when I was with Creation, we were doing that song. When I was in the late 80s, when I was with Creation. And when he sang that at the reunion, I swear to you that tears came running down my eyes, because I'm like, wow, they sound phenomenal, because I remember when I used to direct it with the choir. So that's definitely the one. Thank you,
If you
Paul.
all were not at that concert, I'm going to go through my videos that I have on Facebook, because I do have it. I shared it. I'm going to share it again tonight when we get off of here, because it's just, y'all just got to hear him sing it again. Let's go, Alvin.
Well, that's a no-brainer for me. Probably Church of Thanksgiving. I mean,
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer for me.
That is one of the songs that Dana talked about. I don't care who else sings that song. Nobody can sing that song like Praise Alive.
Can
I say
Alvin
this too?
Willis was at a concert and they weren't going to do the song. They had just released it. I went to the organ at Great St. John and started playing. Y'all gonna sing this tonight? You talk about more proud than anybody, and people don't know this about me. Never was threatened, never was jealous. Was always so excited to see somebody when Keith Neff did their first recording, when Alvin Willis did his. People don't know this. I always did you guys songs just because I wanted to represent Chicago. I felt it was a necessity, you know.
Yeah.
So some things stuck, some things didn't. But it was a simple fact that we were from the West Side. I was proud of it, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
And can I
For
say
sure.
this? I want to say this. Personally, I don't think Churchy Thanksgiving got the attention that it should have gotten
It did not.
No,
I
nationally.
not
agree.
at all.
So
I
I,
agree.
I just I just want to throw that out there for free.
I
I
agree.
totally agree with that. And I'm not just saying it because I was a part of that recording. I'm talking for real. That song, that I don't know to this day why Alvin didn't get a Stella, a Grammy, or something
Yep.
for that song.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah,
didn't get the traction. It didn't get the traction in the industry that it should have.
absolutely.
It didn't, because had it got the traction, that would have been Song of the Year
Oh,
at that
absolutely.
particular time. At that
Yeah,
particular time, that was Song of the Year, hands
yeah.
Yeah.
down,
I
hands
will
down.
say this. I will say this. I don't think Alvin, and Alvin's can speak for himself, but I don't think initially any of us did this for recognition
That's
outside
right.
of
No.
what we
I
do.
believe that. I believe
That's
that
the first thing,
totally.
because guess what? If you release a song in November and call it Churchy Thanksgiving, you're going to limit it to the amount of awards you're going to get.
Yeah.
They've already done all of their selecting for everything. Not like they do it now, but back then, that was the end of everything. Album
Yeah,
released a song and it did blow up, but nobody, we weren't in it for that. I mean, we just have to be honest. We did it because we loved it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah. And that's one thing I respect about all of you guys, the camaraderie. Um, amongst you and the others. We talked about this a bit, Keith and I and Al, before we went live. There's so many other people that really could be on this show tonight because we have more legends
Oh
in
yeah.
Chicago, more legends. That they're all great in their own right. But there's a camaraderie here, and I agree, Paul. I believe that none of you did it for accolades and all of that. And that's what makes you even more greater in my eyes. I have such a respect for each one of you. Y'all will never know. I respect y'all so much, man. Alvin, for me, and I'm going on to Keith. Alvin, for me, taught me so much about choirs and about teaching and about directing. He didn't know it, but I made him my choir directing mentor, and I studied him. I studied his teaching in choir rehearsals till 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning over on Cicero and Adams. But it was all worth it.
Shout out to Bishop Jeff Davis.
Absolutely, he's on tonight. It was all worth it. And I did some of my greatest teaching, my greatest choir teaching, because of what I gleaned from Alvin. And so, Alvin, personally, I want to thank you for what you did and who you are to Chicago. We appreciate you. We really, really appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. I really do.
Keith Butler, what's your one song, man?
That's a
The one
no-brainer.
song.
It's
Well,
EIT is
the one that I would say, and is the one that I would say is It Is Well. For me, I'm a hymn guy. I'm a hymn guy. I think that all choirs should be able to sing all kind of music, all kind, from hymns to anthems to ABK type of songs to Alvin type of songs. I taught all of Alvin's music to my choir. I did, because I'm like Paul, that I appreciated these guys. I appreciated to be able to say that these are my brothers. He's the greatest. I taught the delegation. It was because of creation that I taught delegation I Shall Wear a Crown, which I Shall Wear a Crown became kind of one of delegation's songs. But it was because of creation that I taught that type of songs. And as you just did, Willie, I personally want to thank Paul, because Paul let me learn what it is that I needed to do. He let me exercise my gift with the choir that he was in charge of, even though he wasn't a director then. He wasn't a director. He was just a musician. He didn't want the responsibility. He didn't want to be the president. He didn't want to be in charge. All Paul at that time wanted to do was play. So he allowed me, I think I might have been the longest tenured director that you had. Maybe I was. And he allowed me to learn, which gave me what it is that I needed when God told me to start delegation. So, which made delegation as strong as they were. And I will tell this, and this is embedded in delegation's history. I came from Creation Community Choir at the time. That's where I came from, and I'm proud to say that because of Paul and what he allowed me to do, I was able to do what it is that God blessed me to do and to show the other guys as well. So my hat is off to you, Paul. Go ahead. With
So wouldn't Paul be the oldest one then?
That was a good one, but no.
For me, Keith, delegation could sing Total Praise for me every single day.
Yeah, Total Praise. I forgot
about
that.
Y'all did that one, man. And ladies and gentlemen, all of you guys, you all have been so great watching and dialoguing along with us. I want you to know that I saved Al Reese last on purpose with this question, because we cannot talk about Chicago Community Choir royalty, legends, without mentioning Harrison Spates III.
That's right.
We called him Chip.
That's right. That's right.
We can. When I put this show together for tonight, I immediately thought about him because he was who he was. There was not and will not ever be another Harrison Spates III.
Absolutely.
The director of the Souls of Salvation, in which Bishop Al Reese, and along with, I believe it was Kiwani Cooper, founded. And when you speak of choir directors, you can't speak of an excellent choir director without saying Harrison's name. I reached out to Dana and I said, Dana, I want to do this. I want to do this. And I gotta have something from your brother on. Chipper meant a lot to all of us. And we all went to his concerts, his musicals. I'm sorry, y'all. Can't nobody do it like him. Couldn't nobody do it like that guy.
Nah.
Can't nobody climb those scales like the Souls. And I wanted to take the rest of this night, and then I'm going to do this. Then we'll hear from Bishop Reese, and I want you to talk about your time with SOS and bring us, take us from the beginning and give us some of what you had with Harrison. But y'all, I asked Dana, obviously you saw the flyer, you saw his picture on there, and I asked Dana to send me her favorite clip of Chipper directing, and she sent it, and I'm gonna share it with you guys right now. Don't go nowhere, we're gonna watch it together. Let's take a few minutes and check out in memory of Harrison Spates III. We know him as Chipper. Y'all just take a listen and watch this guy work. Check this out.
Amen. Amen.
Go, Chipper.
Ain't nobody do it like him, man.
Go, man.
He was the only one out of us that could dance.
No, Fitzgerald could too now, but no, Chipper had it bad.
Paul, I'm gonna talk to you when we get off the air.
And I'll reach it from time to time before you find Chipper.
Harrison Chipper Spates the third. My brother, we will never forget you. Dana, thank you for allowing me to do this. We appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Al Reese, let me hear
Man,
from you, man.
that brother was phenomenal. Man, he was a phenom, man. That guy was a phenom. When we started, that's what Chip was, sang the choir. Really didn't do the whole directing thing. Just a choir member, and he did direct our high school choir, and he directed RDJS at Landmark. Phenomenal choir director, and so I was like, dude, direct the souls. I play, and we were such an amazing team. We had there was a lot of things that we shared together. Then our differences is what made us so great. We respected each other for what each of us brought to the table. I learned, I became a better teacher watching him teach. Just what he didn't tolerate, making sure certain things were every little note mattered, how they said things, how they executed things. And so that I actually learned a lot of that from him.
Yes.
He was such a his command of the choir
Yeah.
was second to none. When he said the words "new material," the choir set up because you couldn't miss nothing. You couldn't, because he was getting ready to teach it. And another thing I got from him was, even if I teach this, don't listen to the radio. It'll probably sound nothing like that. That's the foundation.
Right.
But we're gonna do it our way. And so the guy was just a phenom, and that's what made SOS so great. They were a reflection of him. They were a reflection of what he gave them. He gave so much energy and so much intensity. The precision in how he taught a song. That's the way they delivered it. They delivered it with intensity. They delivered it with precision, because that's what was instilled in him. We're not singing it until it's precise, until there was a degree of excellence, until the oil rests on it. We wasn't singing a new song. So that means we gonna work on that song for weeks until he's satisfied. Didn't matter that y'all thought it was good, not until he said so. And I had so much respect for that brother with that. And though I'm the founder coming behind him, it's an honor. And I want the souls to know that. I want the world to know that. I feel like it's an honor to come behind him. I can't in no way. I can't touch what he's done. I'm a fan. I'm a Chipper fan. I'll never forget when he taught "Now Are We" by
Marvin Winans.
Church.
Yeah.
I just sat there. It took me a long time to learn the song. I was too busy watching them do them O's. I was like, who teaches this? Who hears that? I personally was a Chipper fan. I mean, a huge fan. Just the way he taught and commanded the choir. Man, the brother was just amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
And so directing them, man, was just it's an honor. I feel like it's a privilege to direct that choir. And I never take it lightly. Standing in front of them, never will take it lightly. And so when Willie posed that question, I was like, shoot, for me it would be The Promise, because I love to hear them sing.
Yeah. Yeah.
They take me in singing that song. And so I'm just, he and I were childhood friends. Our babysitter lived right across the street from them. He and I were buddies, little. We got the Weston House, and he was like, "I know you." I was like, "I think I know you." And then when we finally figured out, I was like, "Oh my God!" And he and I were attached at the hip in high school. Twin day, we dressed up. We sang next to each other in the church, in the school choir. I mean, so it was just an automatic fit, man. When we would put together those concerts, and the one thing that this guy made sure of is that SOS did an Al Reese original at a concert, which is what made me step up my writing game. Chipper, it was Chipper. And here's what's so funny. He didn't play when it come to me. Chipper wouldn't allow me to be raggedy. But I'm talking about outside of the choir. I told Chipper I'm finna get my ear pierced. I'm gonna just tell you, that nigga cussed me out. I don't mean no, you can't do it. No, I mean he cussed flat out, cussed me out bad. And then he gonna go get his ear pierced. I said, how you gonna get yours? He just said,
got both of them pierced.
Your self with no ear pierced.
Right.
But you got yours. I never got it pierced because that's what he said. I don't know. It was just something. Whatever that something was, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. There's certain things he just wouldn't let me do. You know, and I really, really appreciated that. I love him dearly and miss him tremendously. So thank you, Willie and the guys for that salute, that tribute to Chipper.
Harrison Chipper Spates, the third. We will never ever forget you, my man.
He was also the best little brother and friend that he was a friend. He was a friend to every last one of us. When I say a friend, I mean a friend. He was that friend that would tell you what your choir did wrong, and then laugh in your face and say, "Now you need to know better. You know better now." Bro, who's the big brother here? So can I tell you what y'all did wrong? Because we all went to each other concerts.
Yeah.
So I mean, we would literally talk about. I mean, we would tell Paul, we would tell, hey, you could have done this. You could have. We had the Chicago Music Ministry Alliance where we sat down and we talked about, we talked about what we would do. He was the person that came up with the idea. And I don't know if y'all remember this, but he said there should never be a concert. And excuse me, Adrian, but he said that there should never be a concert on the West Side where more than one of us have a concert on the same day. He did that. He came up with that. He made sure that he would call me and say, Keith, I plan on doing something the second Sunday in September. What do you have? I know that's around your anniversary time. My anniversary was the second Sunday in September. So he did something on the fourth Sunday. He made sure that's what. So we all had our one day. I believe that Alvin was in October. I believe that Paul was in June. We were all made sure that we did not overflow with each other, and it was because of Chipper that did that. Because one of us had a concert on the same day, and Chipper was livid because he couldn't go to both of them at the same time because he couldn't be the guest on both of them. So he had to choose one, and he was upset about that. I never forget it. He was very upset about that.
Yep. Well, Chipper was a unique friend back for me. I know we all talk about the music. Chipper used to call me every morning when I was at work at Prudential. Every morning I would get a call from Chipper. We never even talked about choir stuff. We talked about everything under the sun. He was such a genuine person that he could be as far removed from this whole gospel thing as he could be so involved. And it also led to me playing for them for actually a year. He needed me to help him out. He was just that person who just was genuine behind closed doors. And I would say to all of you, I know from personal conversations, he would tell me stuff about each director. Like he said, Alvin Willis can do more Don Lawrence songs than any of us could. And he would talk about Alvin's sopranos. He would talk about Keith's alto section. I mean, the craziest thing. And he would always bring up Fitzgerald that they moved better than SOS. But Fitzgerald couldn't dance. He didn't understand it. But seriously, it was just a genuine love. I mean, even Adrian B. King, when they got established with Kenny and the different people and everything else, he was there. So he just loved it. So I never thought it would be one of us missing. Like I said before we even got on there, I never thought it would be one of us missing. And I know it brings about changes, but just never thought it would be one of us missing from this conversation.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, there would never be another one of him. And in that video that we also saw, which goes to show you how long ago that was recorded, someone mentioned in the comments, BB, she's gone on to be with the Lord also. And man, we miss these people,
Yeah.
But I definitely, I'll stand by that to the day I leave this earth. There will not be another Chipper at all.
Yeah.
Dana, again, I want to say thank you to Dana for allowing me to do that. And because you did that, I would love to buy you lunch tomorrow. I'm going to do that. We'll touch bases. I just want to be a blessing to you personally from my ministry. Hey, Rob Woolrich. Hey, man, how you doing? Listen, y'all, this was a blast. I could stay on and talk with these guys for hours, but we gotta go. I want to thank each and every one of you all that tuned in tonight for my special episode of the Self Checkout Show. I called it legends because that is what each of these men are. They are legends in my eyes. If nobody else views them as legends, I view them each as legends. Keith Butler, Paul Turner, Adrian B. King, Fitzgerald Jenkins, Al Reese, and my main man, Alvin Willis. Thank you all, my brothers, so much for coming on tonight. I appreciate you. Thank you for your time. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hey Willie, let me say this. I just want to, I want to thank you for doing this. And the main thing that I want to thank you for is the shout out that you gave to Chipper. I mean, Chipper was, I just have to say this about Chipper. Chipper was an electric choir director.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. When SOS was up singing, I was at attention when they were singing back in them early 90s and stuff
That's
like
right.
that.
That's right.
Because I knew that they were going to be I mean, the precision and the energy that Brother Chipper had, I miss that dude so much. I really, really do. We have had numerous conversations about music, and sometimes it hurts me to all of us as a family that we didn't really go as far as we should have went like that. But you know, I just appreciate the camaraderie and that everybody is still in the land of the living. I mean, we're missing Chipper, but we're here now, and I'm grateful for all of you guys. You all are unique in your own ways, and you gave me something all those years when we were actually singing and stuff. Paul, thank you. I directed creation for a while too. That was an important part of my life, and I tell people that too. That was a very important part of my life with being with
For
creation.
sure, surprised too. I'm surprised too. Yeah. I'm like, you did?
Yeah,
he did. Right after me.
Actually, the only person who didn't direct was Chipper because he was too young. Remember, he wanted to join. It was so. We were a family. It was more than just, like I said.
Yeah,
more than just.
I appreciate y'all though.
Well, can I get an IOU?
Hey,
did he freeze? Hello?
Did he freeze? When we come back together again, they need to let you direct creation.
Yes, that's what we're going to do.
Long as he don't dance.
Remember what Edwin told me? Stomp.
Hey y'all, it's been a ball, man. I'm overwhelmed with joy. So glad I could get all of you guys together. They are asking for a reunion, and I'm not gonna do it. Y'all talk to Henry Johnson about that. Let him do it. He did it before. He can do it again. I ain't got nothing to do with it, but I'll come. But again, all of my brothers, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. All of you all watching, thank you so much. Send me a friend request on Facebook. I would love to connect with y'all.
I was just getting ready to say the same thing. We keep talking about the West Side, but we got a South Side on the line too, and we definitely don't want to leave him out. Hey, Adrian, you the man. We love you. He had a song on my recording as well, but they kicked it out. He had a song on my. It don't say y'all. I ain't had nothing to do with that. I ain't gonna say who did.
I'm gonna make some money off that song, and then I'm gonna take the producer out to lunch with my royalty check.
There you go. Hey, I will fly in for that. Let me know when you do.
That's all good. It's all good.
All right, y'all. It's been a blast. I'm gonna get out of here. You all get out of here. I'm gonna post that video from Paul Turner and Creation singing "He's the Greatest." Y'all look out for that coming in within the next half an hour. I have enjoyed myself tonight, and until next time, that's me saying good night to everybody. Thank you all for watching the Self Checkout Show. Have a good one, everybody.
Love you guys.
Good night, everybody.
See you guys.
Good night.